I believe we may be live. Oh, this is slightly less stressful than the last time I did this, which is a great start. Can you do me? We're going to wait for a couple of minutes to see who else joins us um, uh, for the live version. I have my chat wing here. Could you do me a favour and type into the box if you can hear me okay? I'm not sure if I need to include my headphones or not. Can you hear me? I don't know if that's a good thing that I'm singing or not. You should be able to see a little box below. I hope you've all had a lovely Sunday and you are nice and relaxed. I'm going to quickly look over here. Will you do me a favor? You just press play and then I'm going to be able to see myself. Yeah. Very odd. I'm now just looking at my laptop, looking at my page on susieashworth.com so I can actually see myself and the delay. Can you do me a favour? I'm going to type something in. Yes, brilliant. Hi, Jessica. And you can. Cool. Well, I'm going to give it a couple of minutes and see who else is going to join us. Great. Hi, thank you so much. Yeah, the last masterclass I did with Google Hangouts and Easy Webinar, which is the software that I use, it was a really stressful 15-minute start. But we got there in the end and everybody was really, really lovely. So this is a nice way to start. Excellent. Hi, Amelia. I'm really pleased that you could join us. Okay, look, I am going to kick off because it's 3 minutes past 8 and I really appreciate your time on this Sunday evening. So I just want to get started. I suppose the first thing that I want to invite you to do is just be really present. So if you have Facebook on, please turn the Facebook off and the Twitter down. And if you've got pen, pencil, pad, cup of tea, biscuits, just let those be, them and me, be the things that take your attention and just kind of allow everything else to zone out. I hope that you're going to be hearing lots of stuff that you haven't heard before, but if you do hear things that aren't new for you, but you are here because you're having problems with your pricing or your services, I want you to ask yourself, how can I integrate this into my business right now? Because if you're hearing it again and things still aren't quite working, I'm guessing that you're not implementing. So the key thing is always to be asking yourself, how can I implement this in my business for tomorrow? If it's stuff that you haven't heard before, but is a bit jarring to you, doesn't make 100% sense, then again, I want you to see how you can flip it, switch it, script it, turn it around. So again, you're asking yourself, how can I make it work for me? Because the moment that I started asking myself that question, how can I make this information work for me? It completely changed the way that I did business. I really want this to be as interactive as possible. I'm going to keep on checking the chat box throughout. If I don't cover anything that you were expecting or wanting, please ask your questions in the chat box because I really want to make sure you get as much value as possible. As the masterclass page said, this is a pitch-free webinar, so I'm not going to be selling anything to you at the end. But obviously, if you do want my help in any way, shape or form, please use the book a call button, which is on the right-hand side of the page, for a complimentary clarity call. So without any further ado, I am going to dive in. So I'm going to share my screen, and that's going to be the next fingers crossed, will it work? Okay, can you see that okay? Can you see the slides? I'm just going to wait. Obviously, I can tell there is a little bit of a delay, so I'm just going to wait until one of you lovelies can type into the chat box to let me know that you can see the slides. There will be a replay available for a limited amount of time. So if you get kicked off or you have to leave for any reason, then yeah, don't worry, I will send a replay out. But I'm not sure how long I'm going to keep it out for because I've got a couple of masterclasses coming up. Yep, pretty. Thank you, lovely. You can come again. Okay, so what have I got for you this evening? We are going to, we're going to talk about mindset and we're going to talk about marketing. And the first half of the masterclass is really all about mindset. I'm going to talk about the fact that money and pricing is really just an energy exchange. We are going to talk about sorting your shit out and making sure that you've got all of your ducks in a row. We're going to look at plugging your money leaks, because what I know for sure is that if you are having trouble receiving money or charging your worth, often you are also letting money slip through your fingers. So we're going to look at that area of your business. And we're going to talk about minding your own business, which is such a massive one when it comes to charging your worth. Then we're going to look at the practical stuff, which is the logical approach to pricing your services. We're going to talk about why your competition isn't irrelevant. Like often when you work in this heart-centered environment like I do, like we do, often we hear people saying, you know, you're unique. There's only one of you and nobody can offer it, offer your services exactly the way that you do, and that's enough. Actually, I don't think that that is enough, and I'm going to explain why. We're going to talk about the best way that you can raise your rates if that is your intention. And then we're going to talk about the psychology of selling your services and ways that you can encourage your ideal clients to be purchasing the specific packages that you're most keen on selling. Now, I don't specifically talk about different business models, i.e. the benefits of selling, one-to-one VIP high-end services versus the kind of stack 'em high, sell 'em cheap. If you have questions about business models, please do ask me. I kind of covered that in my last masterclass with how you can make your first 1K, which I will be repeating. But if you've got questions about that this evening, please just type them in the chat box and I will look to answer them for you. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm going to give you a really brief introduction on who I am. I promise that I will not kind of wang on about myself for longer than 5 minutes. If I do, you fully have my permission to type in the chat box, shut up, we've had enough. Because my intention is that this masterclass should go on for 40, perhaps 50 minutes, depending on how many questions you have. So I don't want to faff on about myself. But for those of you who don't know me, my name is Susie Ashworth. I'm a mindset and marketing mentor. I work with pre- and postnatal specialists and holistic health practitioners to help them, I suppose it's drop the dread that comes with working in businesses that are not reaching their full potential. I help people really find their vibe and their groove so that they find it easy to attract an abundance of their ideal clients, which tends to result in jubilation for everybody as they're able to create lives and businesses that really serve them and allow them to serve the people that they know need their services. So that is me. These are my two little cherubs, and they're the reason that we're kind of sitting here tonight. They changed everything for me. Prior to becoming a business mentor, I was going to say a media. I was going to use a rude word then. I worked in media. I worked in media for 12 years. The last 7 of those years were with The Guardian, where I worked as head of one of their commercial departments. It was my job to work with large blue chip companies like Microsoft, BMW, Mercedes. And it was my job to make sure that any activity that they did across our platforms, so that's online, offline, events, magazines, newspapers, everything, really stood out from the crowd. So it meant that our campaigns were more creative, more engaging, felt more extremely targeted to our audience, much head and shoulders above our competitors. So people like The Telegraph, News International, The Times, The Sunday Times, that type of thing. I absolutely loved my job until I had this lovely little guy here in the Spider-Man outfit. And immediately after getting pregnant, I knew that I wanted something more. I wanted to just to have a more meaningful career. I wanted more freedom. I wanted more time to myself. It wasn't until after I had Coco, who was my second lovely home water hypnobirth, that my husband actually said to me, do you know what, there's something in this? And I was like, yeah, I think you're right. And it was at that point on maternity leave, I decided to retrain, and I got my diploma in hypnotherapy, psychotherapy, and my certificate in hypnobirthing. I was pretty lucky and relatively quickly built up pretty successful practice. But what that meant in reality is that I was working loads of nights, I was working weekends, we were playing tag team with the kids, and something didn't feel quite right. It wasn't until I invested in an online marketing class that a million light bulbs went off for me, and I had the idea to create the Calm Birth School. I ended up teaming up with Holly de Cruz, which was another hypnobirthing practitioner in my area. And yeah, we launched the world's first video-based hypnobirthing program. And since we launched in December, we've reached over 2,500 women with our free classes and over 250 women for our paid for classes. So with a 10% conversion rate, it's pretty bloody up there in terms of how successful it has been. And it's been during that process that I realised not only do I love helping women birth babies, but I also love helping them birth businesses. And that is really why I'm here. That man there, long-suffering husband, is also one of my biggest supporters. And, you know, it's him that's bathed the kids tonight and allowed me to be here, and you know, it's just massively supportive of everything I do. So this crew are my team. So that, I think that was less than 5 minutes. I think that was about 4 minutes, so I think I've done pretty all right. But that is all you need to know about me. So I really tussled about how to kick off this masterclass, because I thought, you know what, they're just going to want the practical, hard, the structures, the systems, you know, how to put together a great package, and they're going to want that first. But I am a mindset and marketing mentor, and I've said it 1,000 times before, and I'm sure I will say it another 1,000 times again. You can have the best structures and systems in the world, but if your head is not in the game, you will fall flat on your backside every single time. So even though I thought they are not going to want to start with money, it's all just energy, man, and all of that stuff, that is, Jessica saying, I've got a beautiful family, thank you. That is where we're going to start, because I'm guessing that the majority of you that are here this evening are here because either you have issues around pricing, or you are venturing into a new field and you're not quite sure where to start. Could you do me a favour? Can you tap into the chat box which of those categories you fall into? Or if you fall into a different category, can you let me know what it is that has brought you here this evening? That would be great. Problems with pricing, or starting afresh, or something else? Or you just fancied a little nose? New starter going to a new country, yes. Yeah. I'm excited for you, Amelia. It's going to be great. Money blocks, yeah. Change of career from photographer to interior designer. Need to figure it all out. Figuring out price from the start. Okay. Really, really great. It's really, whenever you change career or you're changing environment, there is always, well, not always, but with the majority of people, there is the fear factor. And often the fear factor can make us want to play small. So it's really great, particularly for the people that are starting out and just kind of want to get things off on an even keel, that you are here this evening, because a lot of the stuff that we work through in the first half is, as I said, all about making sure that your head is in the game, so that by the time you are ready to put your new services and products out to the market, that you can do that feeling really authentic and really confident with how you're going to be moving forward. For those of you that have money blocks, I'm not going to be saying anything new when I say that your problem isn't with pricing, but it is with money. Now, I am not a money mentor. If you are looking for some great information on clearing blocks in detail, then please check out www.luckybitch.com and go and listen to Denise Duffield Thomas's wise words, because she is a master when it comes to clearing money blocks. But you cannot talk about pricing without talking about money mindset. So this is where we are going to start. Now, again, I'm sure I'm not saying anything new when I say to you that the lessons that we've learned in childhood are the lessons that we replay in the reality that we are creating today. And often when it comes to undercharging or undervaluing what we are, the services and products that we're providing, it's often because we have attached negative emotions and feelings around money. And people that charge a lot for their services as well, you know, these things, the type of things that we will say to ourselves, or that was said to us in children, that are underlying our own problems, are rich people are bad, we only ever have just enough to get by, easy come, easy go, wealthy people take advantage of poor people, we can only earn money through really bloody hard work. You know, if you're having any problems with money and pricing today, underlying all of that is that, generally speaking, money is the root of all evil. Now, the first mind shift I am going to be inviting you to make this evening is that money isn't good or bad, and the moment we can make that switch in our mind that money isn't good or bad, it is simply an exchange of energy. We put something in and in return we get money back from that. The moment that we can make that switch is the moment that everything changes. Now, is it easy to make that switch? Absolutely, totally, yes, it is easy. But the difficulty comes in continuing to make that switch and that choice in every moment. And when we come from a place of blockages in particular, that is what we have to continue to do. So often when I say this, people are like, well, if having lots of money isn't good and not having a lot of money isn't bad, why do we need to make the shift? And the simple answer to that question is that money gives us choices. Now, as I said, I'm not a money mentor. Denise Duffield Thomas is your lady for that. But it's certainly, when I made that switch, I understood that I just had a lot more options open to me. Like I said, I went into this, one, because I wanted to help people, but two, because I wanted more freedom. I wanted to show my children that if they put their hearts and soul into something, that they could create abundance, that you could go on holiday when you wanted, that you could, spend money on going out for a nice meal if and when you wanted. Oh, sorry, guys. Don't want to see that. So money gives you choices. So often bear with me one moment. I've got my notes jumbled up. Excuse me for 1 second. Typical. There was me thinking it's all going really, really well. There we go. I think I'm back. I'm back. So what we're talking about is the emotional baggage that we've kind of brought with us through childhood. And what I invite you to do is, well, what we're starting to do is we need to clear that emotional baggage. So it leaves us with a clean slate. And the first thing that I love people to do, and something that comes from Denise Duffield Thomas, is emotional decluttering. And one of the best ways to do that is to write down all of your money memories from day dot to where you are now. And the way that I did this, the first time I did this, was looked at the first memories I had from preschool, right the way through to where I am. So preschool, primary school, secondary school or high school for those of you who are in the States. I looked at my first jobs. I looked at every single kind of significant period in my life, and I wrote down particularly the memories that had a negative charge around them when it came to thinking about money. And the first time you do this, I'm hoping that you have at least 100 different money memories. And once you have all of those memories listed out, you can do what is known as the Oponopo prayer. And it's an Hawaiian prayer. And you start off by saying, I forgive you for whoever is involved in that money memory. I'm sorry for your role in that memory, and then I love you. And it's a bit like, for those of you who do hypnobirthing, it's a bit like a fear release meditation for those women who are scared of birth, or for hypnotherapists out there, it's like a rewind technique that you might use with clients who have suffered a trauma. And the reason that you do this is because there is enormous power in acknowledging the negative energy that sometimes we've held on to years for in some cases, and letting that negative energy go with love. You know, sometimes you need to do this many, many times, but each time you do it and say it, it doesn't matter, even if you don't believe it 100%, but every time you do it and say it, so I forgive you, I'm sorry, I love you, you are releasing some of the negative energy that is preventing you from moving forward and charging what you're worth, you know, and really owning and feeling comfortable and confident with saying, this is the knowledge that I have, this is the energy that I'm putting into you, and this is what I want back. So that is the first thing, some emotional decluttering. The second thing is tapping. I'm not going to go into any detail about tapping. If you don't know what it is, check out Brad Yates on YouTube. He has got a plethora of videos out there. Many of them are focused on money and allowing abundance. So go and check him out. And if you can, make tapping kind of a daily part of your routine. The third thing that you can do to help kind of let go of that emotional baggage is write a different story. And by that, I literally mean write a different story. Affirmations are a huge part of my life. And the reason that they have been so powerful for me, so powerful for my clients from a business mentoring perspective, but also from a hypnotherapy and a hypnobirthing perspective, is that they change the way you think and believe things. I mean, they change your beliefs. Beliefs are simply thoughts that we have thought over and over again. And by retraining your brain to think differently about what to expect and feel about money, can completely change your whole entire game. So affirmations that I use every day are that money comes to me quickly and easily. You know, I welcome wealth and abundance from expected and unexpected sources every single day. You know, I attract an abundance of clients to me. You know, I am continuously attracting ideal clients who are prepared and want to pay and invest in my classes and programs. There are so many that you can do. Louise L. Hay has lots, but these are affirmations that I write down and repeat to myself on a daily basis, retraining the way that I think about money, so that instead of feeling negatively or anxious, if I'm waiting for a payment to come in, I am thinking money comes to me quickly and easily. If it doesn't come from this source, it will come from another. The final thing that I am going to suggest is visualization. And as I said, I'm not going to apologize because I am a mindset and marketing mentor, but visualization is something that I have used to help women across the world create pain-free births. You know, for me, that is a miracle. Pain-free, comfortable, positive birthing experiences through relaxation and visualization. Now, you are not going to tell me that you cannot create and attract an abundance of ideal clients and wealth through visualizing yourself. If you can help a woman give birth in a way that is really empowering and beautiful, you know, visualizing every day that you are attracting clients. If you are charging by the hour, if you're a yoga teacher and you're charging by the hour, visualizing what it feels like to have, I don't know, 10 clients that are all paying you £15 an hour as opposed to £7 an hour. If you're a hypnobirthing practitioner, visualizing yourself and what it feels like to have, two groups of 5 couples every single month without fail, how good that feels, seeing that money coming into you. If you are, a photographer, seeing people that are ready and willing and able to pay for your top packages and knowing how good that feels, that is seeing it, feeling it, and really getting your head in the game is so powerful. And again, all of these things combined are just great tools for helping you leave the baggage of your childhood thinking behind. On a very, very practical and also karmic level, you just need to get your ducks in a row and sort your shit out when it comes to your own money stuff, because like attracts like, right? And your vibe attracts your tribe. So if you are being tight and stingy with your money, guess what? You attract people that are tight and stingy with their money. If you're late with paying your bills and you don't acknowledge that, and you don't, let the person know that you're going to be late, guess what? You are going to be attracting people who are late with paying their bills for you. If you're not prepared to pay a fair and going rate for a service, then guess what? That they are going to be the type of people that you are attracting. If you are only prepared to trade your services for another, guess what? You are putting a message out there that either you are worried about attracting enough money into your being in order to share it and give it away, or you don't think it's worth investing in people for their services. And guess what? You will be attracting people who don't think that it is worth investing in you. Now, don't get me wrong, when you're just starting out, trading your services, I think, can be a really valuable and useful thing. But when you are ready to upgrade and up level, I think that there is such power in just handing over the money. Imagine working with somebody, just say you are a massage therapist and you are friends with somebody who does facials and you both charge 50 quid for your service. Give her the £50 for your facial and let her give you £50 for the massage. It's about the exchange of money and really being in alignment with accepting and giving and receiving. So yeah, what I'm saying here is it's just time to clean up your energy around giving, receiving yourself. So where in your life are you putting out that sense of lack? Or where are you not treating people financially the way that you want to be treated? Take ownership and responsibility of that and just clean it up. Money leaks. So when you go through this process, you are going to be in alignment with the people that you're interacting with around their pricing. And now it's time to start kind of looking at where you are letting money fall through the holes. So if you are a person who is in lots of debt or has lots of money on credit cards and doesn't know how much is coming in or going out, or even if you're not in debt, but you're just not on top of your finances, I can guarantee that you're paying for things that you don't really want or value or should have just stopped a long time ago. So, you know, just magazine subscriptions, or if you signed up for a 30-day trial for something, and you're not on top of your bank, you're not looking at how much money is coming in or going out, you're probably still paying for it. And it's that whole thing of not, it's that lack of attention and care. You know, the energy flows where your attention goes. And so when you can be really attentive to what is coming in and really celebrate the money that you do have, and really, whenever you're letting money go and whenever you are investing in somebody, being really confident, saying to yourself, there is plenty more where that comes from. It really changes your energy around things. So, yeah, just be clear on how much you owe, how much you have coming in, and how much you have going out. And then once you are clear on that, work out how much money you need to cover all of your outgoings. And then how much money you want to cover all of your non-essentials. And when I say non-essentials, I mean your treats, your rewards, you know, the things that are going to put a smile on your face. And then once you're clear on those two areas, that's your starting point. That is where you need to be clear on how to start breaking down your pricing for your clients. So, let's have a big glug of water. We've done a lot of navel gazing so far. Now it's time to look up and start thinking about your clients. And one of the things I hear a lot when it comes to pricing, particularly when I've got clients who are justifying why they have been undercharging for such a long time, is, you know, what if my potential clients can't afford that? Or I know they can't afford that. Or people just aren't going to pay that. Now, I'm going to be really, really blunt and tell you exactly what my business mentor has told me on more than one occasion. And that is, other people's money stories are none of my bloody business. You know, remember, money is simply an exchange of energy. If there is somebody who wants to use my service or your service but can't afford it, is it really because there isn't enough money, or is it because somewhere along the line they have learnt and are perpetuating the same money stories as you? You know, what about, it was like, yeah, okay, fine, but I work with sick people and disabled people, and, you know, sometimes they really can't afford it. And again, I would say that money is, this is, you know, my belief that money is simply an exchange of energy. If any of you guys are on Facebook at the moment, you might have seen the story about a waitress who manifested $70,000 in 24 hours after paying for the meal, or paying for the breakfast for two firemen. She ended up, off the back of giving and being really open and generous, they raised these firemen raised $70,000 for the girl's quadriplegic father, so she could buy him a wheelchair. Your vibe attracts your tribe. You know, money is just an energy, and when you get involved in other people's money stories, making it mean X, Y, and Z, not only do you keep yourself from financial freedom, but you also keep your clients in financial slavery too by disempowering them. You know, when it comes to my work, there are very few people who I start working with who can afford, in inverted commas, to work with me. However, after talking through their needs, what they want, and working through what the easiest ways are going to be for them to achieve their goals, they make a decision. They decide that moving forward is more important than spending their most valuable commodity, which is time, you know, trying to work it out on their own. And more importantly, those people make the decision to bet on themselves. They say, I'm going to do this. And that is where the coaching starts. And I think that even as holistic health practitioners, I've seen it time and time again with my hypnotherapy clients when I first started. The results that I got from people that would make even a token donation when I was training, rather than the people that came for the sessions for free. The expectation was more for the people that gave the token donation. They expected more, and the results they got were more. So, you know, if it's your choice to only work with people that can't afford, who genuinely can't afford to pay a fair price for your time and your knowledge, your skills and your energy, and you're happy with that choice, then you should continue to work in that way. But if you're not happy with working with people who are unable to pay a fair price, or choose not to pay a fair price, either or, you know, for your time, for your knowledge, for your training, for your skills, for your energy, then you need to, one, charge more, and two, change your target audience and the people that you're choosing to work with. You know, money isn't good or bad, it's just an exchange of energy. And once you have an abundance of energy or money, however you want to look at it, you know, in exchange for your work, you then have the choice and the freedom to choose to work with the people who genuinely may not be able to afford your services at a higher rate. You know, 9 times out of 10, I've seen it personally, I've seen it with my peers. You know, unless you are choosing to work with that disadvantaged demographic, I can't afford it doesn't mean I can't afford it. It means I don't see the value in the service that you're offering. And that comes down to the language that you're using and how you are marketing yourself. Because you see it, the same person who won't pay £150 for your service or £300 for your hypnobirthing class or whatever will go out and then spend £800 on a buggy. You know, it's not that they can't afford it, it's that they don't understand or see the value. So make a decision on who you want to work with, and then get really good at communicating what it is that you offer and how you can help people solve their problems. So now it's time to get logical. We know how much it is you need to pay your bills. You know how much you want to come in to give you your treats and your rewards. Now the next step is really looking at and writing down all of your skills. Write down all of the time, the money, the energy that you have put into learning what you've learned. And for people that are moving into a new field, don't only count your certificates and your qualifications, because then we get kind of trapped in, well, I'm not an expert, so I'm not allowed to charge this. really look at the life skills that you are bringing to the table, as well as the official qualifications. And I will say that I'm not an advocate of people that have just started out going out and charging premium rates, because I think that if you're not in alignment with, if you don't believe it, then it's not going to work anyway. And there is value in experience, but just don't get caught in the trap of, I'm not experienced enough, so therefore I'm not allowed to charge enough to cover my bills and pay for the life that I want to live, because you can. Now, whilst I always recommend people to move away from charging on an hourly basis, sometimes that's just the model of business that we're working in at the moment. And if that is you, what I'd like you to do is look at all of your experience, look at how much you want to come in for your needs and your wants. And then if you're charging on an hourly basis, I want you to put a number on what you believe, what feels right for what your hourly rate should be. And now, based on the number that you've come up with, look at how many clients you need to see per week in order for you to pay for the lifestyle that you want to lead. If you don't work on an hourly basis and you have a product or service, do the same thing. Just put a number on what feels intuitively right for your service and work out how many clients that you need to see. And the same if you sell larger packages. Now, work out how many is of your packages that you need to sell in order to cover your outgoings, your needs and wants. And for the people that are working on an hourly rate, look at, how many hours in the week do you have? Is it possible, with the number that feels right for you right now, is it possible to see that number of clients in a week in order to give you the lifestyle that you want? I've been going pretty fast, so I hope that you're able to keep up. And if you're not, obviously you can get this on the replay. But if the answer is yes, you have got enough hours in the week to see X number of clients paying X rate to cover the amount of money that you want going out, then brilliant, you've pretty much got your rate. And if the answer is no, you haven't got enough to cover your needs and your wants, because your wants are very important, then you need to raise your rates. And it really is that simple. And this is where checking out the competition is really important. Lots of people will tell you not to worry about the competition. They'll say that there's only one of you, and as I said, that you're unique and there's nothing to worry about. And I just don't think that that's true. When it comes to pricing your services or your products, it's really important to just be super clear on what the competition are offering, so that you are able to differentiate yourself. It enables you to show your potential clients exactly what makes you different in a really tangible way when you are clear on what the competition is offering and the differences that you are offering. It also helps you to get in alignment. It helps you to justify and feel good about your pricing. Now, a really great resource for you on this type of thing is the Blue Ocean Strategy. The website is blueoceanstrategy.com, and there is a great book. And it gets you to Look at your competition and list out all of your competition's features and benefits, and then it gets you to look at what you are offering so that you can be clear on what the points of parity are, so what's the same, but be super clear and identify your points of difference. So if you're a yoga teacher, you know, the things that have to be the same is you're going to have to be able to teach people how to stretch. You know, that is the point of parity. But are you a yoga teacher that also provides home workouts, you know, via video or handouts? Do you have a private group where you are giving, you know, emotional support or tutoring? Do you offer free classes on Periscope? These are points of differences that are all that enable you to charge more and are reasons for you to, you know, position yourself as a premium provider. It's better to be different than try to just be better. And that quote was doing the rounds last week, and it is so, so true. So once you know exactly what it is that you're doing differently, as I said, the next point is really just knowing how to communicate those differences to your market. You know, perhaps your point of difference is that you are just really bloody busy. And if that's the case, you make that a really clear and obvious point that the demand for your services outstrips the amount of time you have, and therefore that is the reason that you charge a premium, because you are really great. But that is where your competition, that is where you need to be looking at your competition to help you position yourself as a premium service. And perhaps you don't want to position yourself as a premium service, and I have to say that that is absolutely fine, but you'd still need to be earning enough to cover your needs and wants. And when it comes to being able to balance that, it's about leveraging your time. So it's working out what can you do to leverage your time. And obviously, as the online girl, that is, you know, one of my specialities. Understanding how to leverage your time is one thing. Making sure you understand how to, again, market and reach the number of people that you need to reach in order to sell enough of your product or service is obviously the next thing. So you know how much money you want to bring in. You know why you're worth it, because you have worked out what your points of differences are. Your point of difference is. You've checked out your competition. You're clear on, you know, where the value in your service is. So now you're ready to raise your rates. And it should be easy, right? It can be, but often it's not. When it's not, it's because you still have your own shit to work out. You're still engaged in your old money story, and you probably still need to be taking your nose out of other people's businesses. You know, money, lack of it, too much of it is such a big trigger for so many people that often it's just easier not to talk about it. And sometimes we're even considered crass if we do talk about it. Now, I worked in sales for 12 years and I talked about it all the time. I had absolutely no problem with asking people, oh, how much did that cost? And, oh, what's your target? But I've literally just witnessed a public uprising when a friend of mine recently told her free group of 3,500 people that she was going to be providing them with a 10-day food immersion course that they would need to pay £35 in order to be a part of her new group. Now, she teaches women how to love their bodies and ditch dieting forever. And it was like a certain percentage of the group had been told that they were going to have to eat their grandmother's right arm. You know, they found the fact that she wanted to charge for her service that had been free just really, really offensive. And lots of people would have buckled under the criticism. They would have just found it too much to bear. And some of you guys, if you decide after going through this masterclass, actually, I should be charging more, and these are the reasons why, you might also get a bit of a backlash, whether that be from peers in your network, whether that be from family members who think that you are not making the right decision, or maybe it's from existing clients if you work on a subscription basis. I invite you to do what she did, which is just focus on the bigger picture. She wanted to create a group of raving fans and create a group of raving fans who were prepared to pay for her services. You know, people that weren't prepared to pay or aren't prepared to pay £35 for a 10-day course that will start to change their relationship with their food forever, and not her ideal clients. And it's her choice and her right to choose to focus her energy on a two-way relationship. So just again, I say money is just an exchange of energy. Don't get caught in feeling that if your competition are charging something, even if you're adding lots of value, that there is a limit on what you can charge. Because I honestly, I've seen it, well, twice literally in the last couple of weeks with my own clients. I just know that that is not the case. So whilst some people do find it super easy to make a big jump really quickly, like one of my lovely clients, she is a fertility lady, and she specializes in reflexology and hypnotherapy for her clients, for her fertility clients. When she started with me 6 weeks ago, one of the things that was really bugging her was that she found that she was competing with other reflexologists who had less experience than her, charging £25 an hour. I think she was charging £35 an hour. And she just didn't know how to compete on that level, and also just felt really hacked off with the fact that she's got 15, 20 years experience in doing what she does. She's really bloody good, and is much more than, in inverted commas, just a reflexologist. And so we worked. She was already very, very clear on the amazing skill set that she brings to the table, and also has great results from her clients. So she was very, very confident in her skill set. What we worked on, what we've been working on over the last 6 weeks, is building up her confidence in communicating that skill set and really taking ownership of that within her marketing materials. I then suggested to her that she tweak her business model to go away from working with people on an hourly basis to look at doing VIP days. I almost peed my pants when she phoned me up last Wednesday night to say that she had, well, it's funny actually. So to start with, I suggested that she charge £500 for her VIP days. After working through all of the skills that she was going to be sharing with her clients, she emailed me and said, do you know what? I don't think it should be £500. I think it should be 700 quid. I was like, okay, if you feel good with that, brilliant. She got on the phone, I think it was last Wednesday, and she had not only we'd worked on a VIP day package, but she'd also put together a package where she worked with clients over an extended period of time, but was charging a lot more. Anyway, to cut a long story short, she sold a £1,500 package to a lady on the phone, first call that night. So not only was I absolutely delighted that she had more than made her investment back in her coaching, but her mind, she just said everything has just switched. 6 weeks before, she had been scrabbling around, fighting with people over a £25 an hour client that wasn't expecting much, to selling one lady 2 packages on the phone for £1,500. And she didn't believe that the people were out there until actually just working it through, building her confidence and showing her how it could work in practice. That switch, mindset switch, is essentially going to change her life, which is just so incredibly exciting. It frees her up. And of course, if she wants to do pro bono work and free work and work with people that can't afford fertility treatment of that rate, then she can do, from a place of feeling really full and abundant from her own energy, because she's not trying to fight with people and doing lots of hours for a small amount of money. The other example that I wanted to share with you is a baby massage lady. And I wanted to share this example because baby massage is one of those areas where people think that there is a ceiling, and she has changed her rates from £35 a session to, there's a lot of £35 a session, to £70. She's doubled her rates, and her classes for September have sold out. She's done that by investing in a really lovely room. She now is operating out of a hotel, so she had to take a risk on that. And is also, she's got a really great reputation. So rather than feeling that she has to stick at what everyone else is doing, she is trading off her reputation and providing an environment that feels really luxurious, and completely smashing it out of the park. So it really is possible to make that leap quite quickly if you're completely in alignment with what you are offering and the value that you're offering. If doubling your rates, tripling your rates, quadrupling your rates just feels completely uncomfortable, then my recommendation is just to chunk it down and make small increases every 3 to 4 months. So it feels really comfortable and you are in complete alignment, so that you don't fall on your backside, because everything, mindset first, then systems and structures. So there we go. I'm aware that I am winding on, so I'm going to try and make this last slide. I think this is my last slide. Yeah, very quick. The psychology of pricing. So you've heard it said many times before that people put more value on things that they have to pay for, and even more value on the things that they have to pay more for. That's why there are luxury markets. That's why Chanel does what Chanel does. And we've also heard people saying that you pay for what you get, whether we like it or not. If someone is charging significantly cheaper than their competitors, we worry as consumers that this service is going to be significantly less in quality or less valuable. So just be mindful if you are currently pricing yourself a lot cheaper than everybody else. Now, from a client point of view, I also wanted to share with you a nice little pricing strategy that can increase the number of sales of your core offering. And quite simply, it's just offering a tiered service or a pricing structure. Now, I got this tip from the master of marketing and persuasion, Robert Cialdini. It is easier to influence a person's purchasing decision when we plant the seed of value visually when they are buying, which is why you see, stores like DFS, if you're in the UK, always was £9.99, now £4.99. It's just planting that seed that, we're getting a bargain here. So think about your core offering and what can you add to it to make it irresistible. Once you have that product or service, when you're literally putting it on your website, make sure that you put that core offering in the middle of your page. Now, once you've got that, go bigger, think more premium. What can you do to what can you add to that package to justify increasing the price, and perhaps increasing it to a price that is significantly higher than what your core offering is? And that it's still valuable, it's still worth it, but it's significantly high. And that needs to be the first offering on your page. So here. So, and then you have your standard offering. And what you get when you have a highly expensive offering on the left, which is what the person sees first of all, they think, woof, I wasn't thinking of paying that. And then they see your core offering with a hell of a lot of value in there. And not only do they love the fact that there's a lot of value, but price-wise, the comparison, it's like your DFS, that was $9.99, but you're getting this for $4.99. It immediately makes people go, oh. And then you have your standard offering, and just by the nature of human nature, we just tend to plot for the middle thing. We don't want the cheapest. We might not feel comfortable parting with the most, the highest investment, but the middle ground always feels really good, knowing that we will always get a percentage of people that always want to buy Chanel. So you can't lose. So I saw a really great example of this last week on a webinar. I was listening to a guy called Dan Bradbury, I think his name is, talking about live events that he does. And what he had done is he had a premium offering, £15,000, where he will organise your entire live event for you. You don't have to do anything other than tell him who your target audience is and who you want to be there. He does the rest. He then has his middling offer. Well, it's not a middling offer. He then has his day consultation, which is £2,500. And of course, I looked at that and thought, whoa, £15,000 for him to do everything, £2,500 for him just for a day. He just gives you the strategy and you've got to do it all for yourself. Oh. And then he has his year-long mentoring program, where obviously you get absolutely everything that he gives you in the £15,000 product, £15,000 offering, but you also get his support and you get him to hold your hand as he steps you through, so you get to learn it for yourself. And for that offering, he charges $9.99 a month. And I heard myself saying it. Wow, $9.99 a month. That feels reasonable. And then I thought, oh my God, he's just done it. He's sandwiched it between an incredibly high-priced offering and then something that is probably valuable, that this seems just £2,500 for a day, and then $9.99 a month with ongoing support, lots and lots of value. That feels really reasonable. Now, in the real world, $9.99 a month is expensive, but he communicated the value really, really well and certainly got me thinking. So how can you do that with your products? As a photographer, that should be really easy for you to do, to have your premium package where you've got everything, and then your core, which you intend to sell the most of, and then your standard packaging. I was thinking about this from, obviously hypnobirthing is always on my mind. I work with a lot of hypnobirthers. There is a lady that I know that works with, she has her core package actually involves 3 different courses. And what I would do if I was working with her is separate those courses out so that you have your premium, which is all 3, then your core, which is maybe 2 of those products with additional different value. I'm not sure what that would be off the top of my head, but additional different value. And then your standard, just straight hypnobirthing. And then you can charge different rates. So potentially what I would do with her, if I was working with her, is the money that she was charging for all 3 courses, I would put that price as the core offering, the rate of the core offering, and then I would add a premium for all 3 courses, because I know she's undercharging anyway. So that's exactly what I would do. If you are a doula, for example, and you do doula work and hypnobirthing and reflexology, I would look to offer that as a package. So instead of offering lots of different single services, which can be overwhelming when people look at your site, I would see how I can package it up into 3 clearly and easy to make a decision on. Yeah, easy to make a decision on packages, and I would price it that way. And that way, you are much more likely to be doing less work for more money whilst still providing your clients with a great service. So I've wanged on a bit. Sorry. That is more or less us. Have any of you guys got any questions? So while I summarise what we've gone through today is your pricing starts with your mindset. Get your head in the game, make sure that you are completely aligned before you think about raising your prices, if that's what you want to do. You know, money isn't good or bad, it is just, oh, Suzanne, can't hear anymore. Back in a minute. Oh, I'm not sure when you wrote that. Money isn't good or bad, it is just a exchange of energy. It's time to get your ducks in a row, remembering that your vibe attracts your tribe. So just be really clear that you are treating people with the same financial respect that you want to be treated with. Get logical when it comes to your pricing. How much do you need? How much do you want? You know, how much experience have you got? And then put a number on it and look to see if that number, if you've got enough hours in the day or hours in the week for you to see enough clients at that number to charge the rates, or do you need to increase your prices, or do you need to think about leveraging your time so that you can reach more people? Check out your competition so you can understand what your similarities are, but most importantly, what your point of difference is. Chunk up your rates slowly if you don't feel completely confident with making the big leap. And encourage your clients to buy your core offerings by packaging things up with pricing psychology. So that is us. Oh, I'm glad that you have got something out of it. So that is us for this evening. Thank you so much for showing up. And yeah, if you have any questions, just hit, you can contact me on susie@limitlessyou.co.uk. If you want to call, then yeah, just book a call. And thank you, and I will speak to you next time. Take care. Bye. Anyone still there? Bye.